In the freezing early hours of October 21st, 1942, the wind cut like blades through the ruins of Stalingrad. The city was no longer a city. It was a mass of rubble, smoke, and frozen bodies, collapsed buildings, factories in flames, ruins swallowed by silence and death. There, every street was a front line, every window a threat, every shadow a possible enemy, and in the middle of that urban hell, one man waited, completely motionless. His name was Vasily Zaitsev. He was 27 years old, the son of peasants from the Ural Mountains. Before the war, he hunted wolves with his grandfather. He was not an officer, he was not a commander. He was just another soldier in the Red Army. But Stalingrad would turn Vasily into something else, something the enemy would learn to fear. At that point in the war, Nazi Germany had pushed deep into Soviet territory. Hitler wanted Stalingrad for both symbolic and strategic reasons. It carried Stalin's name, and it was a vital point along the Volga River. Losing it would be a devastating moral blow for both sides. German forces advanced with confidence, veterans of the Blitzkrieg, well-equipped, experienced, disciplined, but they were not prepared for what awaited them. Stalingrad would not be a battle of movement. It would be a war of attrition, of meters gained, of men consumed slowly. It was in this setting that Vasily received his rifle, a simple Mosin Nagant with a basic telescopic sight, nothing sophisticated, but in the right hands, it was enough. Vasily never fired on impulse. He observed. He waited. He studied the enemy. He quickly learned that in Stalingrad, whoever fired first usually died soon after. The glint of a lens, the echo of a shot, an impatient movement. That was all it took to reveal a position. So he became invisible. He used rubble as cover, changed positions constantly, remained motionless for hours, sometimes for days. He did not hunt men. He hunted mistakes, and the Germans began making many of them. Within days, rumors spread through enemy ranks. Soldiers were falling without warning, a dry crack, a body on the ground. They never saw where it came from. German troops began calling the unseen shooter the ghost of Stalingrad. Soviet propaganda quickly recognized the psychological impact. Zaitsev became a symbol. His name circulated. His kill count was publicized. But for Vasily, none of that mattered. Each shot had only one purpose: to buy time. Time for the city to hold. Time for reinforcements to arrive. Time to break the German advance. The German response came quickly. They sent their own snipers, experienced men, trained long before the war. Some brought directly from the Wehrmacht's sniper schools. The game had changed. Now it was no longer just survival, it was a silent duel. Vasily noticed a pattern. German snipers were methodical. They trusted technique. They trusted doctrine too much. He exploited that. He used decoys, helmets mounted on sticks, false reflections, calculated movement. When the German sniper fired, he revealed his position, and Vasily answered. One shot, one permanent silence. The most famous confrontation came days later. A German major, an elite instructor sent specifically to eliminate him. The duel lasted days, both men motionless, watching, waiting for the other to make a mistake. The cold was brutal, hunger constant, exhaustion overwhelming. But Vasily had something more: patience. On the third day, he noticed a detail, a minimal reflection, barely perceptible. It was enough, a single shot. The German major would never move again. The victory was silent, no celebration, no applause, just another body among the ruins. By the end of the Battle of Stalingrad, the numbers were staggering, hundreds of thousands dead. A city destroyed, a turning point in the war. Vasily Zaitsev was credited with more than 225 confirmed kills. Other sources suggest even higher numbers. But the real impact was not in the statistics. It was psychological. Fear, hesitation. Entire units slowed down. Soldiers avoided windows. Offensives were delayed. One man had forced an entire army to move carefully. After the war, Zaitsev became an instructor. He trained new snipers. He shared what he had learned in that urban inferno. He never romanticized war, never spoke of heroism. To him, Stalingrad was simply survival. Vasily Zaitsev died in 1991. Years later, his remains were transferred to Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad. He was buried with honors, not as a myth, but as a soldier who did what had to be done. In a war of millions, sometimes one man is enough to change everything. If stories like this deserve to be remembered, leave a like. They are not just about war, but about resistance, patience, and human impact under extreme conditions. Subscribe for more real stories from World War II. Stories that sound exaggerated, but actually happened.